All right guys, welcome back to Unbox Analysis. Today I'm here to show you a project I've been working on for months. Now, if you've seen any of my past videos where I built a computer, unboxed an RTX 4080, you know, when I unboxed the 3D printer, a couple other fun things like that, that was all for this. Oh, and that keyboard over there, we'll get to that. That's coming up in a future video. But for now, let me show you this. This is a computer case I've been working on for quite a while. This computer case here was designed for a friend of mine. He's been talking about getting a gaming computer for years, but he works in the oil field. Now in the oil field, he has access to power, but he doesn't have access to a ton of space. So he wanted a top-tier gaming computer that wasn't a laptop that he could take with him. So over the last 5 months, this is what we designed. We'll show it to you from the top down.
So coming into this project, this build, I had no idea how much work it would actually be. A lot of my build was just trial and error, from making parts I didn't even use to creating an entire box as just a template. The main goal here was not to go for perfection, but durability and functionality with a custom look that would survive all of his traveling. But some things I knew I had to get right. Throughout this entire project though, one of the biggest things that held me back was actually myself. You'll notice one thing in these quick little snippets of the build process here, that I am not the cleanest person when it comes to projects. After my first template, I ended up building one large box and cutting it in half to make sure it all stayed square. Then I got to the fun part, the carbon fiber. My first attempt with vacuum sealing didn't work, but I knew the trim would hide my imperfections, so we went with it. So with over 190 hours and over $5,000 invested, this was the end result.
Alright, so we're going to start on the top here. This is the 4 mounts that hold in the monitor inside. We'll get to that. But we cut this out of a piece of metal. We used a laser engraver to engrave through 1 layer of paint. There's 2 layers of paint, red on the bottom, black on top. Laser engraved through, got our Republic of Gamers thing going on. Still a couple pieces missing here. They're washers. We'll get to them later. Coming down behind the case, we have 2 pass-through power connectors that are directly soldered in to another wire that goes to the power supply and to the monitor, along with 3 matching hinges. We slide around to the side here. We have a couple things plugged in, but you have direct access to 4 USB ports, high-speed 3.1, and a display port pass-through. Now this is a high-speed 8K display port in case he wants to use an external monitor. We did not find an HDMI 2.1, but we have a solution for that. We'll get to that in a bit. Now you'll notice on the side there's pistons. A lot of people are thinking, why wouldn't you put those inside? Because he wanted them outside and he's the customer, and honestly, I think it looks great. Coming around here to the front, we have access to a single USB Type-C port and an auxiliary port as he requested. Now on this build here, we weren't quite going for perfection, right? We wanted it to be unique. This is one of a kind. I didn't even mention what the case is made out of. This case is made out of carbon fiber, real carbon fiber Kevlar wrapped in epoxy. Now when you make carbon fiber, you make it with epoxy. Normally the layers are a bit tighter. So this isn't pure carbon fiber, there's wood on the inside, but that is the best way we could find to stick in the time frame and the budget that he had. Okay, down on this side, we have 2 fan inlets here. Now, a lot of people are wondering, does this machine overheat? Nope, it doesn't overheat. This machine never overheats. We've ran stress tests on it for days. Runs fantastic. All right, now we're gonna get to the inside of the case. So don't mind the reflection here. We're doing the best we can, but this polyacrylic is extremely reflective. Starting on the right side, we have the power supply down here. Power supply is partway in line with the inlet fan to make sure it doesn't get too much heat and gets plenty of fresh air. Above it, we have the main motherboard cable for power running in, and it's all routed underneath. We've done as much wire and cable management as possible. Down here on the right side, it's kind of hard to see through, but we have a solid steel square cutout down there that mounts directly to the GPU. We do not want this thing moving while he travels. All right, Now, up here on top, we have 3 fan covers. These fan covers are all 3D printed. The motherboard is mounted to something that is also 3D printed, and it worked great. All right, so this hole here is used to store the wireless adapter. So when he's got Wi-Fi going, he can connect right to it. And he also requested that he could have access to the HDMI port here. So with this, when he opens it up, he can plug the HDMI in along with the external display, plenty of monitors and space. You'll notice here we have the radiator with the fans on it blowing outwards. So we have inlet coming in from the right side, in coming in from the GPU, and it is all coming out right through here. So in turn, this entire computer runs great. During some stress tests, we managed to hit high 90s for just a couple of seconds while the radiator caught up, and then it ran smooth. During high intensity gaming with some of the new Spider-Man games, Warzone, and a few other things like that, we never got above 60 degrees. Honestly, this thing cools and runs way better than even I expected, and I designed it. So next, we're gonna go ahead and turn it on. All right, so you have the power button right up here. Okay, so as you can see, we have it running. I'm standing right next to it with my lavalier mic, and yeah, it's not the quietest thing in the world. It's slightly louder than a laptop. I actually don't have a decibel reader, so I can't tell you that. I apologize. I'm gonna work on it. But once it's all up and going, it is a nice, unique package where you can sit and game. I will say it's not small though. This thing weighs in at a whopping 52 pounds. So he can still carry it decently, but it's not entirely something you'd want to sit on your lap. All right, moving right along to the stats. This thing is running an i7 13700K, 64 gigabytes of DDR5, 6000 megatransfers per second memory. Then up top, we have an Asus ROG NVIDIA G-Sync monitor running at 260 hertz. Down inside, we have a Silverstone Mini ATX 850R power supply, which fits in there perfectly, never gets hot. You know, in Silverstone overall, they're a little pricey, but they're super reliable. So the main piece resistance in here would be the RTX 4080, which looks fantastic through the top, especially underneath these 3D printed grills. Now we 3D printed these because we didn't want the fans exposed. We wanted to limit, possible danger, stuff like that. Now there is one thing I didn't really care for. It's how we had to run these. I had some better ideas for it, but he has to get back to work, so we're running out of time. So this is what we ended up with. The cables don't kink, they work really well, and here they are. So I know you're thinking, can you really game with this thing outside? Yeah, you absolutely can. Let's go try it out. Whether you're gaming in the woods on a $10,000 computer like a normal person would, or getting your hair cut, Bluetti's got your back. Their power stations are fantastic, they last a long time, and they're super reliable. So on that note, thanks for watching this. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks to Bluetti for sending over that solar generator / power box. I hope you guys enjoyed that skit. I'm actually filming this outro before we do it. So as you can see, there's still some hair back there. If you guys like this kind of content, let me know. If you guys want to see more of the build process for this, let me know. I have a lot more that I can add in from footage I've taken over the last 4 months, but I thought about starting a whole channel dedicated to builds. This is more of a review / an unboxing of this crazy project that I've been working on for months. Also, if you want to see more about this keyboard here, let's just say this is by Dust Silver. They're amazing, and I've got a video coming up with 2 of them. On that note, thanks for tuning in to Unbox Analysis. This has been an extremely fun project, tiring, but fun. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.